officially fall and we need to get this trailer winterized. So this is actually a used trailer that we just bought this year. We've owned trailers and campers in the past, and so the winterization process is pretty similar for just about anything, whether it's a fifth wheel, a motorhome, a camper, a pop-up camper, or a travel trailer or RV like this. So I'm just going to go through kind of three main things. First, we're going to talk about kind of exterior stuff, what to do to kind of help the trailer last through the winter without getting as much rust as possible and any damage to tires and leaks and things like that. Then we're going to go inside and we're going to deal with the water system, how to winterize the water system, make sure that we don't have any water left in there, filling it with coolant and flushing everything out, that kind of thing. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is kind of how to prevent rodents and mice and other pests from getting in the camper during the winter time. So whether you live in a warmer or a colder climate, that's important as well, especially in cold climates, because as soon as the fall and winter start rolling around, all those mice and other critters like to try to find a nice warm place to bunker down for the winter. So we're gonna work on that too. So I'll go ahead and take you in close and just kind of show you around the outside of the trailer and some of the things that we're doing to start off here. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the gray water and black water drain pipe open. There was just a little bit of water in there. It's all been flushed out, but I just want to make sure that there's no water left in the tank. So I've got that opened up, and I'll just let that kind of drip off while I'm working around other things here. The first thing I did when I backed the trailer back here, if you're not on a cement pad or some type of a dry surface, you want to make sure that you park on top of some type of a wood. It's actually even better to have it a little bit higher up off the ground than this, but I just have a cut up piece of an old entertainment center that I threw underneath here. It's got a glossy surface, so the water kind of sheds off of it, and it's going to help keep the water off these tires. Another thing that you could do, there are tire covers. I'm going to be replacing these tires next year, so I'm not really concerned about that, but when I get some new tires on here, I will get tire covers also. And so if you have those, or you have newer tires on your RV, I would highly recommend that you get some covers to throw on there. Snow and moisture and stuff like that will sit on here, and that's bad for the tires. So that's kind of where I start, just getting the trailer all set up, make sure it's on some pads so we keep the tires as dry as possible. Okay, so when I park the trailer, I just put a few extra boards on one side so that I get a little bit of a tilt on the trailer. Not much, just a little bit, so maybe 1 degree here. And that just gives us the ability to have all that water running to all my drains, and that's in the wastewater and in the freshwater tanks. That way I can get all that water drained out of the system, including my hot water heater. Okay, so since we've got the trailer tilted to this side, this is where all my drains are. They're all on the passenger side or the right side of this trailer. I've got my water drain for my freshwater tank here. I've got that open right now just to make sure we get as much water out as possible. I've got this opened up just because we're going to fill this here in a little bit. And I've also got my hose, my freshwater or city water connection opened up. And if you actually take a key or something like that and you stick that in here, there might be a metal filter on here. There's actually supposed to be. Mine's missing. But if you just push in this little metal thing here, you get some water coming out there. All right, that's water coming out of all those pipes and hoses. And if you hold that in, just make sure you get as much water out as possible. That's just going to help us save coolant, not coolant, but antifreeze once we start filling it up with antifreeze. So another thing I like to do, and if you have white grease, it works a little bit better, but I have some WD-40 out here right now, so that's what I'm going to use. But any type of fixtures and joints and things that are moving, I just like to throw a little bit of oil on them for the winter. So that way, hopefully it will help prevent a little bit of rust. So I'm going to do the same thing back here on the stabilization jacks, just kind of get some oil on these screws. And again, just to try to help prevent a little bit of rust buildup from these. And again, if you have white grease or something a little thicker, it works a little bit better, but this should do okay for now. Okay, so I've got the hot water access panel open here. I always make sure all the valves are turned off. It doesn't really make a difference, but that's just something that I always do. A lot of them are going to have a valve here where you can easily drain this out, or they might even have it underneath the trailer where they've got a drain valve. Mine has a drain valve right here that it's not a valve, it's a plug that I have to take out and drain the water heater. So we want to make sure the water heater doesn't have any water left in it, and we're going to use a bypass valve on the inside, which I'll show you in a little bit, before we put any antifreeze in the system. So we're going to get this drained out. Okay, so at this point we've got the water heater plug is still out, and I'm just letting that get every single drip of water that I can get out of the system. So because I have the trailer tilted to this side, I should be able to get pretty much all the water out of everything. Now here's where you have a couple choices to make. A lot of pumps, the little water pumps inside, will have a port on them where you can take a hose off of the pump and switch a valve and stick a hose right into your can or bottle of your RV antifreeze, and the pump will suck this right out and right into your water lines. That's one option that you have. This is an older trailer. It doesn't have that option, nor do I really want to start disconnecting hoses in there. Nothing leaks right now, and I don't want to change that. So I'm going to actually take the RV antifreeze here, and I'm going to dump it right into my fresh water tank. The reason I like to do that, and I did this in our old campers as well, I always worry that there will be some water left in that water tank, because the drain valve in this situation isn't right underneath it, or there's going to be some water left in the tank, and I worry about that freezing and cracking that water tank. That would be quite a mess to clean up. So I'd rather dump our antifreeze directly into the tank, and then use the water pump to pump the antifreeze through the system. That'll leave a little bit of antifreeze at the bottom of the tank and prevent any type of freezing there. So you can get as much of this stuff as you want to. For an average size trailer, I would think 3 of these jugs, maybe 4 of them, should be sufficient. Okay, I've let this kind of drip dry as much as possible here, and so I'm just going to get this plug put back in, and we'll have the water heater all closed off for now. Alright, so I'm going to take off the water heater access panel here. Okay, so usually somewhere near your water heater you'll have a bypass valve, and all this basically does is just turns off the water that goes into the water heater and just allows the cold water to bypass right by it. Okay, so we've gotten everything, got the water tank all filled with antifreeze here, and we got the bypass valve shut off on the water heater, and so we're ready to pressurize the system from the water pump. So we're going to go ahead and turn our water pump on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just get all those lines filled up with antifreeze. So we're going to go ahead and start with our cold water here. And I'm going to do that real slow here so that until we start seeing that pink come out. Alright, so as soon as that pink, you start seeing the pink come out, then you know you're good. You've got the line all filled up. So I'm going to do the hot water side here as well. This one's going to take a little longer because it's got to go all the way back to the water heater. Alright, so we've got pink coming through there as well. And I'm also going to run that over in the both sinks here, because I want to make sure that the P-trap in the bottom of the drain gets a little bit of that coolant, or I keep calling it coolant because I'm used to cars, but antifreeze, it's not coolant. Get some of that antifreeze in that drain as well. And we'll go ahead and move back to the bathroom. Okay, we're going to do the same thing in the tub. Okay, we've got pink coming out, both hot and cold. Should be good. And don't forget to do the shower head also. Okay, so just in case you're unfamiliar with, I referred to a P-trap earlier. This is a repair that I did earlier this year. Actually, on this was cracked because somebody didn't winterize this properly before, and you'll see I had to replace all this with PVC. But basically, this is our bathroom sink drain, comes down, and you always have a P-trap on every drain. It prevents the sewer gas air from coming up from your tank and going back up into your, venting into your trailer. There's always a bit of water in here. It prevents that air from going back up. So you obviously want to make sure you get enough antifreeze into the P-traps here. If this just stays full of water, as soon as this freezes, it's going to crack this thing open. So we want to make sure we get plenty of antifreeze down the drains as well. Okay, same thing with the toilets here. We're going to rinse those until we get enough pink. And make sure we get that down into the black water tank as well. Okay. Alright, and lastly, we're going to do that bathroom sink. I'll let this run a little bit longer here once we get all the antifreeze through, so I can make sure that that P-trap is filled. Got plenty of antifreeze left, so make sure we've got it pumped through everything really well. Okay, back out here to our city water connection, and just want to make sure now that we have the system full of antifreeze that just use a stick or something and press in that little pressure thing, and you'll see pink coming out, so that means we've got the antifreeze all the way up through this one. And my drain valve here, which I have a replacement for, it's pretty broken, but we want to make sure you just, if there's any, see a little bit of water in there, we want to make sure we get that so that turns pink as well. So now we know that line's not going to freeze and break. Okay, so once we have all the antifreeze purged through all the water system, if you have any outdoor you know, showers or outdoor water utilities or anything on your RV, you want to make sure you run all of those as well. The idea is to fill every single line and drain with some antifreeze. Once we're done there, we can just go ahead and flip off our pump. Okay, so last thing that we're going to do here is just kind of go through the trailer and make sure everything's closed up, and also make sure that we don't get any mice in here during the winter time. So what we like to do, a lot of people use mothballs, that's fine, but I don't really like the smell of mothballs, and it's really hard to get them all over the trailer and every nook and cranny. So these work great. We've used these for years, never had a problem with mice. And these are just dryer sheets. I actually picked these up at the dollar store. They were actually $1. So I picked up a few boxes of these. I think there's like 165 I think we'll have here total. That should be enough to get us spread around there, but again, real inexpensive way. And all you do with these things is literally put them everywhere. So I will lay them around on the carpet. We'll put them underneath any sheets that we have. We'll put them in the beds. We'll put them underneath the pillows, and in all the cabinets and cupboards, all the utility boxes in the outside of the trailer. Anywhere that a mouse could go or would want to go, we put these things. And for whatever reason, they don't like the smell of it, I guess, and they don't come around. So I'll go ahead and go through that now. You always want to make sure, now this is a residential refrigerator that I actually installed, and I'll have links to some other related RV type videos at the end of this video, so if you're interested in how I installed this or removed the old one, I have videos on that. But this is just a regular residential refrigerator, but no matter what kind of refrigerator you have in your RV, you don't want to leave the doors closed over the winter or anytime you have it in storage, really. So I always leave mine just wide open. And if you want to wedge something in there to keep this open, that's fine, but I just leave mine wide open. That prevents mildew from growing in there or anything else. You just don't want to lock moisture in there when you have temperature changes outside. So this way the air can flow in and out, and we don't get any moisture or mildew buildup in there. So, alright, well that pretty much wraps it up, and just in the nick of time because it just started pouring rain outside. So we'll go ahead and finish up the video inside here. If you don't have an RV or a travel trailer or a pop-up camper or something like that, and you're watching this video just because you subscribe to my other videos, this has really been a great investment for us. We bought this used. It's nothing special. It's old, and it has its issues, but it's easy. We can hook it right up. We can take off. It's easy to set up when we get to our campground. This has just been one of the nicest investments that we've made for our family. Definitely something that I would recommend. If you have a trailer or an RV and you're watching this video and you have some tips or tricks or something that you would like to share, maybe something that I missed or left out or something you do a little differently, I'd love to hear about that in the comment section. So throw that down below. If you have any questions about this process, ask anytime. Again, throw that in the comment section. I'd love to answer those questions as well if I can. If not, I'll find the information for you. So I really do appreciate you watching today. So hit the thumbs up button if you found the information or the video informational or enjoyable at all. And thanks for watching. Have a good one.